was like this past weekend up at Oklahoma State, and what did you kind of get to learn about your team in more of an in-game environment?
Yeah, preseason's been good for us. We have a lot of new players trying to figure out how to play together. Coaching staff's trying to learn our strengths and weaknesses, and to play a preseason scrimmage and then a preseason game is very good for us. We haven't had a full roster yet for either one, so hopefully Monday we'll be as close to that as we can.
What were some of the things that impressed you about your group against Oklahoma State, maybe throughout the other scrimmages, and some things that are maybe top of mind to improve?
I think offensively we're pretty talented. We can score the ball from the back court, the front court. I think we have good three-point shooting, as well as some guys who can put pressure on the defense in the lane, get paint touches, and draw fouls. Defensively, we have some things to clean up and work on, which is understandable in the preseason.
You have a bunch of new faces, new coaching staff, all these new factors. What does that process look like? Building that chemistry and kind of familiarizing yourself with everyone sort of on the fly as the season starts coming?
Well, I think as you go forward through the preseason, you can't put everything in all at once. It's just overwhelming, especially for a new team, and we have a new system for the players. They've never played in our system. So they've done a great job of trying to get some of the concepts, and then we use this last 4 or 5 days before Monday to put the last few things in our playbook as far as what we're going to try to do offensively for the first few games, and then defensively clean up some things that we've been working on and also improve in other areas.
What do you notice about a guy like B.J. Edwards and how he's fitting into the system so far?
BJ's improved a lot since the spring. He's probably one of the most improved guys on the team, and we expect great things from him this year. He just makes winning basketball plays, offensively, defensively. He can play multiple positions on both sides of the ball.
Coach, when you took this job in April, got acquainted with the players, what was one thing that you were most impressed with, and what was one thing you were like, man, this needs some serious work for us to be successful this season?
Well, when you first take the job, you don't have a roster, especially in today's era with the transfer portal, with NIL. So the first thing we had to do as a coaching staff was try to fill out the roster, and then once we had everybody come in July, that was our time to try to learn our players quickly. Even though we had limited time in the off season, we were only allowed 4 hours a week in the summer months, or actually for the month of July, first week of August. So once school started in late August, early September, then we try to get to know our team, and I think we've been very impressed with their unselfish attitude. They're all about the team. They know that they have to perform as individuals, but they have, within the team concept. There are veteran guys. We have a good mix of youth, and our 3 freshmen have been very, very good. They're improving, but we'll rely on our veterans to especially early in the season.
How important are the veterans? You have guys maybe like a Matt Cross, who's done this for a while. He's been in multiple schools. He knows kind of how to adjust to the new, I guess. How important are guys like that when you are going through this process?
Well, I think a lot of guys on our team have transferred once or twice or 3 times, so this is not new to them as far as coming into a new program, a new school, trying to get acclimated to the surrounding area. It can be overwhelming. I think as a freshman you're coming in, everything's brand new, but we have veteran players that have done it before, and also but it's different now because this is SMU. It's a different city, different school. We're going to the ACC. It's a different league for a lot of our guys. Now Matt and Boopy have played in the ACC before, so we expect them to have a little bit of an advantage.
How are you prepping your team to enter the ACC?
I think just to go compete. These games starting Monday are very important for us to try to set an identity with our team, set identity for individuals. And we have to come out of this preseason knowing who we are going into the ACC play. The ACC play starts early this year, the first week of December. We play 2 December games. I think we have Virginia and Boston College. And then January, February, and March are the rest of the league. So that's how we'll try to prepare for it and try to improve dramatically here from the first game through December.
Yeah, kind of in that vein, outside of just a positive result, what do you hope to see on Monday, and what do you kind of classify as be a successful game?
Well, you'd like to compete and be tough on the defensive end. Offensively, have some ball movement, some sharing of the basketball. Try to shoot a decent percentage, take good shots, and I think if we can do that, it'll be successful enough to win the game. But the team we're playing is very aggressive. They're very talented, and They have a great coaching staff, so we really haven't been into game planning yet. It's a little early for that in the week. We'll get into that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Can you dive a little more into Boopy and the expectations you have for him to start the season?
Yeah, we expect Boopy to be he's a team captain. Our team captains are Boopy Miller, Chuck Harris, and Kean Ambrose Hilton. So Boopy's a leader. He's a leader by example. He's one of our lead guards. He has to control the game. He has to be very good defensively. He's smaller. He's very fast and quick. So he has to use his speed and his quickness to affect the game on defense and offense.
Are there any injuries or guys that will not be available for Monday or things like that you can disclose or anything?
It's
our first time with you on that. So
yeah, we're optimistic for a full roster Monday. Jarrell Colbert did not play our last game. Sumet did not play. The first scrimmage we had four players out. So we're anticipating a full roster. Sumet is the question mark with his the eligibility. We're optimistic, but we have confidence in our other guys as well if he can't play. So we're really excited about see what everybody can do on Monday night.
If there's anything you can share about both Sumet from what you've seen on the court and being around the team, but also just kind of the process to maybe get him eligible. Just two different questions there, I guess.
Well, on the court, he's a true low post threat. You throw the ball to him, he can score the ball himself. He's an exceptional passer, and he's also very good on ball screen rolls where he can catch the ball and make the right play and make the right decision. So he's very skilled and a very high IQ big man. The other eligibility center issue, that's just working through the process, and that's typical for an overseas player. And we're just optimistic that'll be handled pretty quickly.
His international experience, how much does that help, and how much did that stand out when scouting him and looking at him as an option?
Well, generally when you play on the club teams as an amateur overseas, as a high school player, an amateur, you play against older people, and he's had great experience playing against older, more mature players that know how to play the game the right way, that are physically mature. So he's a very tough young man. He's physical, and he can use his big body to gain angles. And you can tell he's played against some pretty good players just with his concepts and how he thinks the game.
For you personally, what do you think is going to be going through your mind when the ball's tipped off Monday, just as the head coach for the Mustangs' first new team in 10 years?
Well, it's exciting. We're all excited. Our players, our coaching staff, the surrounding SMU community, a lot of students we've spoken to are excited for this basketball season to go into the ACC, to be the first time SMU's ever played in the ACC. And we'll take the court Monday as an ACC member, and there's nothing better than that to compete at the highest level of college basketball.
Kind of going off, I mean, you look at the way, I know it's different sports completely, but the way the football team is found immediate success, the way the volleyball team has found quick success in the ACC. Is there anything there in terms of motivation or inspiration, or just seeing other teams at this school find that success so quick as you?
Yeah, I think the football, volleyball, and the other sports, we've had success in other sports here as well. That it's very inspiring. It's great to see. We're the biggest fans, and we love to see the success early in the Power Conference. It is a jump in competition level, but like you said, the football, volleyball team are both ranked, and I know our golf teams, our tennis teams, soccer teams have done very well, and so we're just really excited for everybody.
Coach, I'm sure you said this in your press conference, but if you don't mind just repeating, why SMU? What attracted you about this job?
Well, the excitement and the support to go into a new conference when they left the Southwest Conference, went to the Western Athletic Conference and Conference USA, and then the American Conference, which are all good leagues, but to now get back to that Power Conference level is something that's very, very exciting for everybody, including myself and our coaching staff that came from USC last year, to be able to have that opportunity to be the first coaching staff to take a team, a university like SMU, to have that opportunity is pretty special, and that doesn't come around a lot. The realignment has changed college basketball in many, many ways, and so we're thrilled to be here and excited to get going.
mentioned some of the challenges with having to have a whole new team, get used to that, implement your system. Does it remind you of any year you had at USC maybe where you had to turn over the whole roster or anything like that, or do you have to go all the way back to where you first came on board with USC?
I think the first two head coaching jobs I've had at Florida Gulf Coast University, it reminds me a little bit of that because I had some returning players. We brought some players in, and then in our second year, we were able to go to the Sweet 16 with that group. The USC is a little different because the first 2 years we had no transfer portal and had to recruit high school players and wait for them to graduate. But it does remind us of the year we had Evan Mobley coming in. We had Evan signed. We had 3 returning players that came back, and we lost Onyeka Okongwu early to the NBA draft as a 6th pick in the draft. And we woke up in the end of March after COVID happened and shut our season down. We only had 5 players on our roster, and we had 3 returning, Evan signed, and we had a transfer that had sat out, and so we had to go out and recruit and fill out a roster, much like this year's team with only 3 returning players, 2 freshmen signed. So it's very, very similar with the amount of roster spots we had to fill. That year we brought in 5 transfers and were able to go to the Elite 8 with that team. They just meshed together perfectly. They had no ego, and they played incredible basketball together and went to the Elite 8. So we have no idea how good this team will be, but we're optimistic that we have seen that in the past, teams that we have recruited and coached, where the transfers and the existing returning players have come in and meshed together and have been very, very good team.
Did you already know what concepts that you felt you would implement early and which ones you would hold back, or did it just depend on the feeling you got from this particular group when you got together?
I think every team is different. As coaching staff, we try to play to our strengths, and sometimes as you have new players, you have to coach them a while before you really understand what everybody's strength is, and also how you can do that out of the team concept. So we're learning our roster. I think the preseason, the scrimmages, the games, the intra-squad scrimmages we've had has really helped everybody.
I know the ACC is new territory, but what are these returning players teaching these younger players coming in about how it is to be a Mustang and play these big games?
Well, our 3 returning players, B.J. Edwards, Keon Ambrose Hilton, and Chuck Harris, they are very good players, and they're high energy. They're great communicators. They try to help our young players learn quickly. And then the transfers that come in, they've been the leaders of. They have a lot of pride in SMU. They've been here. They have a lot of pride in the city of Dallas and what this means to the campus and the SMU community to go into the ACC.
Through scrimmages and in practice, what's one thing that you specifically seen that you've been impressed with for it being so early on right now?
Probably our offensive ability to score the basketball and create for each other. Defensively, we have some things to work on. It's been a work in progress. We have the ability to be a good defensive team, especially when we get everybody out there on the court. We have great size and length on our team. But the offense was probably a little ahead of the defense early on.
You mentioned feeling out process to learning your team. Is there anything that you've learned so far that maybe you weren't anticipating about either players or about what the unit could do as a whole?
Not really. I think our expectations were this would be a very competitive team. They've matched that. They play hard. They practice hard. So I think early in the season, there are always things that surprise the coaching staff, individual players, as well as what the team can do together. And we're hopeful those surprises are on the positive side.